this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your daily horoscope and energetic reading for Venus moving into Libra. So finally, Venus is moving out of a debilitated energy. When Venus was in Virgo, we were pondering and critically analyzing, and we were looking at love in a completely different perspective, right? We were much more conservative. We wanted to make sure that these were healthy relationships. We wanted to make sure that we were that they were really good partners for us. I mean, we were really getting down to the nuts and bolts of, is the union partnerships, and are they pleasing us? Are they good for us? Like, we had a lot of questions come up, and many relationships dissolved, and some were regenerated. Some of the stuff that happened during that time frame was it took the rose-colored glasses off of our perception of our relationship that we were in, and then it revealed the reality in the situation. Now, because of that, like I said, some of these unions did not make it. And if they did make it, many of them we have scars right now from these relationships. So it's about, for many of you, regenerating, looking at this relationship in a new way, a much more, I think we've humanized the relationship instead of idealized it, and we're kind of tattered and a little bit broken, and many of us have some battle scars. So good news is that Venus moves into Libra, and now it's about heart. You know, Venus is home, and it loves being in Libra. It is all about heart and love and passion, and it's all about beauty and pleasure, and it's all about feeling good. Harmonious resolutions. It's about negotiating positive outcomes. It's such a beautiful energy, and I can't wait to tell you how it's going to affect each one of your either your sun, moon, or your rising sign. And I would really check out your Venus sign with this one, because this is all Venus related. So it's really important to, you know, I like to hear how my Venus, when Venus moves into a different position, I actually go check out my Venus sign, just because, well, my Venus has been in Virgo, and let me tell you, it was a very revealing Venus in Virgo transit for me, very healing, very beautiful. I was very blessed to live through it, but I don't want to do it again. So anyhow, guys, I am going to be right back to tell you how this is going to affect you energetically. Hi, Aries. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Libra. I love this energy, and I just love telling you about it, because it just, I don't know, it makes me happy. It's a lot better than the energies I've been talking about for a really long time. So Mars, your ruler, is going to be in Virgo. And it is in conjunct with Jupiter and conjunct with Venus during this event. And Jupiter and Venus are conjunct in 27 degrees. So let's talk about what all that means. That's all astrology mumbo jumbo, but what it really means is that how you passionately pursue something is going to be conservative. And I know that's not your style. I know this passive-aggressive approach to life right now is kind of frustrating for you internally. But I think you're starting to feel the rewards of this conservative approach. Now, normally, to be a true Aries at heart, you got to be like just all balls and gung-ho, like you are just hardcore. But there's been all this energy, you've been sitting in it for a while, and you're starting to understand the value of pausing and having conservative approaches, and you're starting to understand that I think that you're probably getting along with people a little bit better as you are taking a different approach to partnerships. Now, partnerships can be work-related. You know, they can be definite intimate partners. And much of this energy, to be quite frank with you, really is going to be on partnering energy, unions. For you, not only are you going to have a conservative approach to all of this, but you're going to be, I think you're going to be a little bit idealistic again, but still realistic, but idealistic. You're going to be much more open to the middle ground in relationships, compromising. You are going, in the past you used to hold back, right? And you needed to be your way, and then you gave them the goodies of you, right? And I think that energetically, you know that that's not the way to build a healthy relationship. Sorry, I had to switch my butt cheeks. And so I think what we're still working on a little bit is diving deep. Like, you're still kind of in the appearance of, in relationships of, well, I think you're still caught up in appearances, period. But I think you're still caught up in appearing to be stronger than you currently are. Like, you got a soft spot right now, and a soft side that I think you need to reveal to people. And I think if we could see both masculine and feminine energy in you, I think that is where a lot of your relationships will turn around. You have Venus working together with Mars. That's female energy upon female energy, because it's in Libra, in Mars energy, which is this conservative approach. So it's okay that this energy probably doesn't feel altogether delicious for you, because it makes you feel, I don't know, sweet, and you have a bigger soft spot than I think you want to. You like to hold back and keep your fort up and keep defensive in case anybody wants to infiltrate your fortress. But I don't think that's the way to move forward with it. I mean, I think what's happening right now is there's this need to feel emotionally fulfilled, but there's a fear of opening yourself up to that, especially since we had so much energy challenging relationships. And so I think it's about stop hiding. You're hiding from the truth in all of this. You're hiding from it with inside. Like, what you deeply want, what you need, you desire. You are hiding all of that, and you are putting on this facade like, hey, I've got it all figured out. I'm the king of my household. I'm sitting on my throne, and everything is fine. But I don't think you're fine, right? I think that there's just this deep little yearning within you that you need more. And you want more emotional fulfillment and more good times with somebody. And I think it's letting the guard down, and stop working so hard to put on this facade, right? Stop working so hard, period. Like, many of you might just be working so dang hard to be a provider that you're not actually getting to be emotionally fed through a significant relationship. And so you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision of whether or not an empty life filled with pretty things and moving forward is good enough for you, when you know deep down inside you're freaking a mush pot and you want something different. Like, I feel you. Like, you want something different, and you want something like sweet. Anyhow, guys, that is your energetic reading, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Libra. So your ruler is moving home. It's moving into Libra, and this is a wonderful energy. You know, Venus energy loves being in Libra because it's such a pleasure-seeking energy, and it really aligns you back with what's really super important. So for you, boy, you are wanting to be fed by heart. You want love back in your life. You want to feel full. So Venus in Libra is going to be conjunct Mars in Virgo, and so we've got Venus in Libra, which is partnerships and unions and pleasure and all your senses being activated, which is what you love. You love all this delicious energy. And it is conjunct Mars in Virgo, which is a conservative approach to it, I would say. Which I think that this isn't going to be totally half bad for you, because you know you're kind of a slower moving person when it comes to this sort of stuff. I mean, big commitments anyway. But I think you want to keep track of the routines and the how far you go in pleasure seeking. Let's put it that way. So for you, during this event, Mercury in Scorpio is going to be conjuncting the Sun in Scorpio. So this is a lot of burning desire. This is coming from deep within. So I think you're feeling pretty good. Like I think you're feeling loved, right? And highly fed right now. And I think that you are very optimistic about an outcome. And it's like you have everything you want kind of at the palm of your hand. And this requires decision making, right? For you to, okay, so for us, even though many of us, we all have all the time a choice to make whether or not we want to move forward or not. And forward energy it's scary energy because it's unfamiliar energy. It's a challenge. And so often what we do is we stay stuck in situations and we try to regenerate old situations because we're just too scared to get out of our own way. And so I think for you, because change has always been bad, right? Because change has always been something that you had to live through, and it seemed to add another kink in the chain of pain. I think that you have difficulty doing that. Now, the outcome, of course, of all of this is you get to be happy, and you get to be fed on a level where it goes down to heart and passion. But to get there, you have to make a change, right? And I think many of you have made that change or are starting to make the change right now. But there is something to ponder. I think there's something still holding you back a little bit. Something that I still think that you're trying to think through. And I want to say you're still choosing between two outcomes, and you're leaning toward one, and this one seems to be the right one, right? Because it could give you everything you want. But there's the one that is the least, the one that you're not as, the one that you're scared about making, and the one that you're turning your back to is the one that really has a hold on you in some way. And so you need to figure out what that is. Now, the one that has a hold on you, I feel deeply, is new. It's a new outcome, right? It's information that's new, or it's a new outcome, or it's something that has just came into your life as an opportunity. Whereas the one that you're holding on to is established and old, and you can possibly regenerate that one. Both of these outcomes you care very deeply for, but you are losing sleep over this. Like this decision is driving you nuts that you need to make. And I want to tell you that whichever way you make it, I mean, you are going to have a beautiful outcome. You have to stop fearing change and making a decision, and you have to you take your time and decipher this information. You are intuitively connected to the universe. There is lots of beautiful energy. Neptune and Chiron are trining the sun in Scorpio, and Saturn and Sagittarius is sextiling Venus and Libra during this event. So this is about opening yourself up and broadening your perspective, and just allowing easy energy to flow into. It's almost like instead of being on a rapid and going down a hard bumpy ride to get to an outcome, right? You can choose that one. It's more fun and exhilarating and exciting. Or you can take this really smooth road that just glides you down, and you're looking at the beautiful nature and the birds, and you're laying there and the sun is beating on your body, and it's just really, which outcome do you want, right? I mean, I think that's entirely your own journey, and the decision is yours. Thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner. What a delicious energy to tell you guys about, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Gemini, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus going into Libra. And for you, all of this is going to be happening in your 5th house, and 5th house rules romance. And how apropos that during this event, it's all about heart, all about love, and all about romance for you. That's pretty aligned. And Mercury in Scorpio, which is your ruler, is going to be conjunct the sun in Scorpio. So for you, this is about really aligning with what you deeply desire, right? This is about an emotional intensity and being highly intuitive to what you want and need to make you feel sustained and happy. And you are very, very passionate in this energy. You're very loving. I think you're you're highly sexually motivated, I want to say, and you have a very emotional approach to a relationship right now that is really starting to mend some of the issues that you guys have been having. So at the time that Mercury and Scorpio are going to be conjunct in the sun in Scorpio, we're going to be experiencing a yod. And, I talked about it in yesterday's forecast. So you might want to go take a look at the day before's forecast, because I go really into this. But I think what we're trying to figure out in this event is what you really, really, really want and desire. If everything points to you and what you will want, and you're not, now see, the problem that I find with Gemini energy is that we often align with what other people want. We're mutable, we're a piece of clay. So if we're with somebody, we just do what they do, because that makes them happy. But it's like, if we were to point everything to what we wanted, what would you want? What kind of romantic relationship would you want? If you were to start out a relationship, how would you want it to start out? If you were truly authentic and truly real with your partner. And so I believe that you made a decision, and maybe you're regretting that decision, or maybe you're wondering if that decision was the right decision. Should you have made that decision? And this has to do with turning away from something that I think that you it's funny. You turn towards something that I think you don't see working out, because I think maybe it was easier, or maybe maybe this person has stood by you for so long that it makes sense to turn toward that person as somebody to start your future with. And, you know, maybe this person has provided you with emotional support and monetary support. And so this person seems like the obvious choice, right, for you to choose. But what I wonder, why you attach more emotional fulfillment with the thing that you left behind. So I'm wondering why that is. It's funny because what I feel like you miss, I feel like might have been the ticket. Or maybe you missing that is preventing the current relationship that the one that you're trying to move forward to. I think what I think you did was you made a decision based on logic. Logic says that you should move forward with this person. And then I think what happened is, and you are moving forward with that person, and I think you're really going to give it a go. I think you're really going to work, but I'm wondering how healthy the move that you made was. Maybe that's what all this energy going up toward your yacht is all about. Was this ego? Was the decision that you just made not that long ago ego? Are they supporting you being unhealthy? Maybe not technically being unhealthy, but an unhealthy mindset, meaning it's something that you've done always and you've stayed aligned with this person, and so that union, is completely accepting. But I wonder if, and you're moving forward with logic, and I think it's good, and I think that it's, honestly, the choice you made was the most logical choice. So I don't know why I feel that it wasn't the most emotionally fulfilling choice. It was more logic based. And I don't know why I'm feeling this way. If you made it, it's so new right now. Wait. It's so new. Whatever you did was recent. It's so new. It's hard to have the answers right now. And I think that you need to I think you just need to stay in alignment with what you want. And I think that more information is going to come that is going to figure out all this. Look, there is a way to resolve this situation. I think where it's at right now, you couldn't possibly know how to move forward. And during the transit of, I think, Venus moving through all the degrees, I think you're going to get more and more answers. November is going to be a month where you start to get what you want. And I think it's a process of being revealed to you, because there is a decision that you made that I wonder if emotionally you're regretting. But I don't know as if it's a bad decision, because logic tells me that it was a good decision. but your heart tells me it was a bad decision. So I don't really, I would say, wait, let's work through the energy. Where energy starts is not where it ends, ever, right? Where if it's in 0 degrees, it's got, 28 degrees to go through. And so, and it gets aspected along the way to help develop this energy. And so do not, let every detail, do not let every detail distract you, from being patient and allowing energy to manifest its potential in your life and direct you. Don't get caught up in the fact that you need an answer right now and obsess over it and think about it and drive yourself crazy, and don't let the potential of the current situation that you are in be missed because you are caught up in analysis paralysis. So for now, I say stay your course and move forward, and allow these energies and you to, for the next 2 weeks, figure out your yod and work through it. I feel like you've got a good support system. I think that that the fact that you are so highly supported right now is a good foundation for you to make some forward decisions on, and just allow this to happen. I'm so sorry. What a weird reading. I think, well, the problem is I have a Gemini rising, so maybe there's a message in there. There was all last week, I swear. I'm sorry if it wasn't, for you, but it was very aligning for me, my message to me. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Cancers, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Libra. And for you, all this is going to be happening in your 4th house, and the 4th house is home and family, roots, that sort of stuff. And so, the moon in Libra is, the moon's going to be in Libra, and then Venus is in Libra. And the sun is in Scorpio, and it is conjunct with Mercury in Scorpio. And so we have balancing energy, we have Libra energy in here, along with Scorpio energy, very, very predominant in today for you. Now, the moon in Libra is going to be opposing Uranus and Aries. Now, we also have a yod today. And this yod, all this energy is pointing up to Uranus and Aries. And I actually made an episode about this yod that's forming, and I'm going to actually include it as a link because it's going to be very, very informative during the next 2 weeks for everybody to see that. But so you have a question, a really burning question about what do you want? What do you desire? Right? What do you need to be happy? And this is a partnering type. This is all about partnerships, this energy source that I'm going to be talking about. So this is about finding a way to balance out your emotional needs, right, with what you deeply desire internally from the depths of you, right? So sometimes I think what you can do is you can try to make everybody happy, and you often put your emotional needs aside and then end up resenting them later because, you never get your emotional needs met. And then, so it's almost impossible to do it in this energy. You won't even be able to. So this is about unlocking, actually, what you deny yourself sometimes. And the reason I say this is because the moon in Libra is going to be squaring off with Pluto and Capricorn. So to me, this suggests that they're often it's like I feel like you work harder than you should in these emotional situations. Like, you work harder in relationships than you should, and you often don't get what you put into it out of it. And even though you get a little bit, and that usually keeps you hanging on, you're not willing to do any of that kind of silliness anymore. And so I don't think that I think that sometimes you want to build your own foundation, and you want to keep it strong, and you want to move forward, and you want to be the source that everybody relies on, as a sense of control over that. And I don't blame you. We went through all the Pluto-Uranus squares, and we had some major challenges in our foundation and our structure and our identities. And so I think the key to rebuilding, right, and that's the top of the yod, is to allow love in and partnership and unions, and start to trust and open your heart up to potential, right? I think for many of you, you're on top of most of the situations that used to hold you back. But I think one of the biggest fears that I see in this reading is that if you open yourself up to this, and you allow partnership energy to flood you with hope and optimism, I think you're scared of being taken advantage of again, and again putting more into it than you get out of it. And I don't think you trust that you have a balance over that situation yet. I don't think you trust yourself. And I think you're hopeful, and I think you feel this energy because you're highly intuitive, and you can't help it with all this Sun and Scorpio energy and the Mercury in Scorpio. Like, there's a lot of water in here filling you up with desire. So you cannot want it all you want, but it's almost impossible not to have desire start to flood. A desire and a yearning for companionship and love and partnerships and really beautiful energy, to start really asking you these tough questions. So I think when you feel this the most is at night, and when you're laying there. If some of you are single and alone, I think you can't help but feel this desire for something more. And I don't think you're at peace with where you're at. And I think you know that you need to make a change, and you need to, like, honest to God, have a brand new approach, a brand new everything. Part of this is letting go of the control over your outcome. You're absolutely fixated on controlling your outcome. So much so that I think you're still trying to keep the walls up. But honey, the walls are going to come down because there's just too much pretty energy asking us to make those walls go away. You deserve love, and you are worthy. And you are worthy of emotional fulfillment, right? You're worthy, and you're not going to lose your balance this time because you've learned all of your lessons. And even if you do, you'll never go down those emotional roller coasters again, because you're somebody different. You're not that person, and you never will be again. So trust your instincts, trust your gut, trust the universe, that if it brings you somebody special, open your heart up, open the door, and let them in, and start to take back what was took for you over these past few years. Thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Libra and Leo. All of this is going to be happening in your third house. Now, your third house is the house of communication, of short distance travel, of siblings. So it's a pretty big house. So let's talk about this with you. So the Sun in Scorpio is going to be conjunct during this event with Mercury in Scorpio. And they're about 4 degrees apart. And then Jupiter in Virgo and Pluto in Capricorn are going to be sextiling the sun. And then Uranus is going to be opposing this. So let's take a look at what all that stuff means. So when you have a sun in Scorpio, I think you just have a desire to control a situation or an outcome. Strong desire, in fact, an overwhelming desire. And then you have kind of all this Uranus energy. We have a yod going on at the same time that we have this event going on. And a yod is just a big question from the universe. And I mentioned it in a different reading. I think it was November 6th reading or 7th. It might have been the 7th. But anyhow, sorry. About the energies, it's all moving up toward our egos. So the ego's asking us the big question. And it's ego versus authentic self, core-based deep desires, right? And I think we need to get those to align, especially for you. But at the same time, the sun is going to be conjunct only 4 degrees apart from Mercury and Scorpio. So to me, this suggests that you're trying to make a decision. And I think that when you made the decision, you used logic. And to me, that was a really good idea, that you made this decision based on logic. And the reason why is, I just don't like the reason why you did it, right? So originally, I think you made a decision based on logic because I almost want to feel like it was the safest way to go. That would keep your walls up, keep you from losing your independence and losing the ground that you feel like you're now standing on. And I want to say that, I mean, you're in protective mode, for sure. And I think that right now, intuitively, I want to say that I want you to be careful that you are not working out of fear. Okay, so if you're aligning with old ego, then you're aligning with fear. Because our old ego died. It was murdered. And so, when that happened, you had scars from that, and you have you have not emotionally released yet. And if you are aligning with your old ego and you're not looking at this yod or relationship potential as positivity, you are looking at it as challenge and vulnerability, then I think that you're going to fall into this quincunx that is in ego, and that's opposing your sun. So be careful that that the decision you made to dissolve a relationship and wasn't made out of ego. I mean, you must have recently walked away from something that had potential. Or maybe you weren't getting enough ego stroking, like maybe that person didn't validate you enough. And so you walked away thinking I could do better. And I think that you secretly know that this has something to do with passion in your heart. Like, all I see is passion and heart and, you know, Mars-based energy. So during this event, Mars and Virgo is going to be conjunct Jupiter in Virgo and Venus in Virgo. So perhaps your a passion for something was shaken, and you had to make a decision, and you made the best decision that you could in the situation, but I feel like you're having regrets. I think what you don't want to do is get off your pedestal, right? I think that you are sitting high up there on your pedestal, afraid to rock the success that you've achieved so far. And so if you allowed a passion, pure passion, to come back into your life and make you too optimistic, I feel like you'll lose ground in making realistic choices and creating a realistic outcome. And so I think what you're doing is turning your back to opportunity, turning your back to making decisions that you know you need to make right now, and that you are turning your back toward sharing, opening yourself up and sharing yourself with somebody. I think you would just almost at this point rather stay on this pedestal that you've created for yourself, because it provides you balance, and you worked really hard to get here. And I'm not saying it's a bad stance. I'm just wondering, those are the people that are still, I think, clinging to ego and are going to have this quincunx in a day. For many of you, I think you made a decision to turn your back to something because you've gained some solid ground and it was the right choice, and you made it, and it was selfless, and you did the best you could in this energy, given the circumstances. And I want to say that, you know, you're going to get a pat on the back from the universe for making this selfless decision, because you didn't make this based on you. You made it based on another person. So I think there's two ways that this can go. And I think either one of them, or they could interchange. There could be some aspects of what I said for one, what I said for another, that really blend for you in some way. But it was a big choice that you made. And, it kind of shook your faith in love a little bit, whatever it was. And but that's okay, because sometimes when we experience quincunx and we experience energies that really kind of rattle us a little bit, it awakens other feelings in us that we need to feel at the time to really expand the way that we're looking at the situation. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, Virgo. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus going into Libra. And for you, all of this is going to be happening in your second house. So this is the house of value. It's the house of the value you place on things, or the value you place on others, or how they value you, or what you even value. You try to figure all that out anytime anything is aspected in the second house. And so Mercury, your ruler, is going to be in Scorpio, and it's going to be conjunct the sun in Scorpio. So this is really asking those deep, tough questions about what you want, what you deeply desire. And I'm going to say, honey, that this is a lot to do with partnerships. Now, I mean, and thankfully so, because you guys get to be such worker bees that I think you lose sight of what you want, and ideally in love and partnerships. So as energies always do, energies move through different transits to focus on different parts of our lives. And for you, this has to do with, like, what do you deeply desire and passionately want from a partnership or a union in your life? Or what do you want from a potential one further down the line? And so I think, I want to say that many of you have been in protective mode for so long that it's not that you're truly deeply unhappy where you're at, but you're kind of in that mode where if it's not broke, don't fix it. But you're going to get this burning desire deep from within to ask yourself some pretty tough questions about what you emotionally desire. And the reason I say this is because Venus in Libra is going to be conjunct Mars in Virgo during this event. And so it's really going to be emphasizing passion. Passion to get these questions answered. So you're doing a lot of thinking about this, and I want to say that what you're really deeply desiring to change in your life is just putting the passion back in your life. And I think you want this sweet little outcome. And I don't think you're asking for too much. Like, you want something deeply, but what kills me is I see that you rely more on the knowledge of the situation, or more on protecting yourself from an outcome than passionately pursuing something that could add value to your life. I mean, I think that what you're doing is you're settling for a life where it's not like you're unhappy where you're at, so you don't feel a strong desire to change your outcome. And I want to say this because Mercury in Scorpio is trining Neptune in Pisces. So it's not like you have this sweet little hopeful, dreamy energy motivating you to make these, to spin you up and mentally energize you to change your outcome. And I want to say that you're kind of stuck being alone, many of you, mentally alone. And that you're kind of used to your life not being enriched by tons of passion. And so, and I feel like you've had some small victories, so I think that that's enough for you. But I think what's going to happen is changes coming, big changes coming in a passionate outcome. And I think what's going to start to happen is the fire is going to start to get lit in you for passion to change, for passion to start motivating you to make some changes. And for you to let go of relying on, a logical solution to an issue. I think that every time that you get passionate about something, I feel like there is some sort of fear that's associated with it. It's like every time you get really super passionate, you get disappointed, and then it becomes a burden in some way. And so I think you need to let go of that, and that you have to stop looking back at the past and comparing it to future outcomes. Like, you really do. What you need to do is really allow the sun to build a fire inside you again. And for you to stop turning your back to the fact that you deserve emotional fulfillment and happiness like everybody else does. And that I really want you to, you're ultra conservative right now, super ultra conservative. And that's often what we do. What we do is when, okay, we get really passionate about something, right? And then we get burnt. And then we swing all the way to the other side to where we get ultra conservative about it instead. Well, when the pendulum swings back the other way finally, because that's imbalance and that's imbalance, when it swings back here, then we're right on the money. And we're kind of at that point for you that the pendulum is starting to swing back to the middle, and you're going to figure it out. But there's more information that's necessary. That requires diving deep. That requires allowing some partnerships to develop into your life to lead you to some potential opportunities. But this is going to require you to allow the fire to even begin to burn, I think is going to be the message for you. You're not even, I don't even know if you're willing to let it burn. Like you just, and that could be because we just had Venus in Virgo energy, really honestly, critically analyzing, making us more vulnerable in relationships. But when Venus moves into Libra, it's about pleasure and harmony and beauty, and it's about our senses being pleased. So even though we had a transit that was in love, Virgo energy, we're now moving out of that, and just trust that if we had to walk away from something that we were hopeful about, that I say was attached to your ego, was more of an ego-based relationship than it was a relationship that could have ever been fulfilling. I want to say that that's okay, because you need to leave that behind, because that was an old belief system that you were attached to, and there was a lesson to be learned, or perhaps a karmic relationship for some of you if there was a loss, a great loss, or a big disappointment. It was a karmic relationship, and you were destined to meet this relationship, you were destined to lose this relationship, and you were destined to learn a lesson from the relationship to open you up to the potential to help you be the person that you're supposed to be for your soulmate or your energetic connection. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Libras, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Libra. So Venus is moving finally out of Virgo. You have felt off. You have felt off for quite some time. We had a weird Venus transit. We had Venus move in and out of energies and in and out of debilitation, and I think that you have just felt off, and relationships for you have been somewhat of an area where I think emotional fulfillment, you've been much more conservative and reserved, and you've been holding back, because I really believe that I don't think that you completely understood like what you wanted from relationships, because your planet was really, honestly, it went through an evolution. I mean, or the planet helped you go through your evolution as it asked you really tough questions about partnerships. So for you, all of this is going to be happening in the first house. It is a special conversation with just you and your energy source. Now, this is definitely for Venus in Libra, but it speaks to them energetically really well, but it also speaks to Libras in general. And what it's saying to those people is that it's time to analyze what you're passionate about, right? Because you need to be very realistic about what you're passionate about. And you need to stop idealizing what you're passionate about. Because often when sweet little Venus, when Libras fall in love, they fall in love with just rose-colored glasses 10 full on, because they really honestly look at a package and they see that package as who they want as their outcome. And then I think what happens, and it's why Libras are married so many times, is because they fall in love with potential, and what they end up getting is nothing even close to that. They're extremely disappointed and disillusioned, and they go through very deep lessons in needing to partner versus picking a partner. So it's almost like it's almost like they are chosen by partners instead of choosing a partner. And so you've went through some pretty intense lessons throughout it for quite some time, for many years. And so we're getting on top of all of that now, and the energies are starting to switch and support you being in a union with who you're with. Now, you have a much more realistic look at who you're partnering with now. And I think that's why Saturn, during this transit, is going to go in and sextile this event for you. So it's sextiling Venus in Libra. This is delicious. This is all happening in your first house. This means that the outcome that you deeply desire and want actually aligns with the partnerships that you are currently in or soon to be in. This isn't about living through karmic relationships anymore and karmic lessons with partners. It's about making very realistic choices about who you're passionate about and about learning your lessons. And I think for many of you, you are. You really are. You've really grown in this energy. Now, during this event, we have a yod that forms, and I talked about it. Oh, I need to figure out what day this is. This is driving me crazy. The yod forms on the 6th, and so I need you guys to watch the 6th to really understand what I'm talking about, because I can't cover it in this video as well. But when this yod forms, it's really asking you to check your ego, and I think that's important because with Libras, often the way that you guys fall in love is you guys fall in love based on potential of a partner and monetary, as much as physicality, as much as pleasurable. And so you kind of forget, you know, that you're actually picking a partner based on emotional necessity, emotional fulfillment. And so you get these reality checks every once in a while. The top of the yod is Uranus and Aries, and then it's quincunxing both the Sun and quincunxing Jupiter today as well, and until the 14th of November. And so it's going to be asking you some really tough questions about the partnership that you're in. Is it aligned? It's going to open you up. It's going to, what it's really going to do is open up your thought processes to what is your part in it. So we go through 12th house work before this, and we take a look at, you know, what is our past karmic lessons and what do we need to learn from it? And then we apply it in our first house. And so for you, this is about applying it. This is about stepping outside of comfort zones and seeking alternative methods to partnership energy. And so for some of you, I think you're going to be challenged in the fact that ego is still making many of your decisions, but you're not as bad as you used to be. And I think that you would still find it hard to walk away from a really good monetary situation or anything that you associate. See, if you're in a union and that union, you look really good as a couple, and the social status is there and the monetary gain is there, I think you would still find it very hard to walk away if you needed to, if they weren't meeting your emotional needs. So I still think there's an area you need to still work on and balance out if you're really truthful with yourself. And when you have the Sun in Scorpio, and when you have Mercury in Scorpio, it is almost impossible to be untruthful, because you can't, like, there's no hiding from this energy. So I think that there's still some challenges that you are seeking. And this is going to go back down to the basics. This is going to go right down to the absolute bare facts of this situation. I mean, you've been, you know, you haven't always been on top. And so this is about appreciating. This is about being fed internally. And this is about passion. And I think you want to make sure that all of those things you're getting out of the partnerships that you're in, the partnership that you're in. And I think that's why Mars is still in Virgo, asking you about this union. Is there passion for this union? Meaning, is there emotional fulfillment in this union? And so I think you got some tough questions because, again, you always wrestle this ego-based desire to attach to the wrong things, and where you are, then you're not emotionally fed from it. And so the journey, okay, so we start out in energy like this, and then we go through 28 degrees, right? And that evolves us in a source of energy. So where we start is not where our outcome ever is, you know. And so if we're at a point where we're trying to learn how to value ourselves and our and value others, and we're trying to weigh out putting ourselves sometimes first before others, and then if we're trying and not shaking the boat to where we're at, but feeling like we are important enough, and that I want you to be outwardly reflecting what you're internally feeling for you, for this person or these unions in your life, for them to really start to energetically connect with you, because it's not about appearing like you're on top of the world. It's about being on top of the world. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event.